everyone, I'm Dongling. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I will share a super practical research skill, how to synthesize research like a pro. Don't worry, when it sounds academic, I break it down in a fun and simple way.
Think of it this way. If summarizing is like taking snapshots, just recording what you see, then synthesis is like making a documentary, discovering connections, and telling a complete story. Let's start with a quick test. Look at these two paragraphs. Which one has more depth? First, Smith found A, Jones said B, Brown discovered C. Second, recent studies show A, B, and C are interconnected, collectively influencing. Now, please tell me which of these two paragraphs you think is more profound. Yes, the answer is in the second paragraph.
This second paragraph is the research synthesis method we'll learn today. In today's video,
we'll explore the following 6 key sections in today's video, so stay tuned for the whole video. Here's a summary of what to anticipate. Section number 1. We'll start by discussing the difference between summarizing and synthesizing in research. Section number 2. Then I'll compare the two side by side so you can see the contrast. Section number 3. I'll walk you through a step-by-step synthesis process, breaking it down into simple and actionable steps. Section 4. Next, we'll review some practical examples to show you exactly how to apply what you've learned. Section number 5. We'll also touch on some common mistakes people make so you can avoid them. Finally, in section number 6, I offer some helpful synthesis tools to help you better synthesize and make your research and writing even more straightforward. Don't worry, I provide some key takeaways in the end to make sure everyone understands. So take your notebook, settle in, and get started. Alright, let's break it down. First, we're going to cover what the summary says. We're only going to cover one study this time. We're going to follow the original study closely. For example, you may see something like this on the screen. Study A found X. Study B found Y. Study C found Z. Now, let's look at the research synthesis. Let's connect the dots. We'll link the ideas from these studies together. We'll look for patterns. And most importantly, we'll draw some new insights. On the screen, you'll see something like this. Studies A, B, and C all suggest that under condition Z, X leads to Y. Now, let's examine it in detail and contrast these two methods. The summary approach, which highlights significant discoveries from many studies, comes first. Each study gives us a glimpse into the individual benefits of remote work. Let's now attempt the synthesis approach, which will bring all of this research together into a single coherent idea. By combining all of this, we can see the big picture of how remote work is benefiting both employees and employers. Pretty compelling stuff, right? Okay, let's go over this together. Step 1. Determine the theme. We'll group the information into theme clusters on the screen. We will examine the resource first. We'll then go over the resource. We'll discuss the background as well. Next, we will explore the theoretical framework. Step 2. Seek relationships. We'll emphasize the supporting evidence here. Also, we'll take note of any conflicting resource. We'll also examine how these investigations expand upon early research. Step 3. Establish a framework. We'll identify recurring trends. Any different findings will be noted. We will investigate research gaps, and we'll also look for new trends. Here are some practical examples to see how summary versus synthesis works. We're going to start with social media marketing effectiveness. First, let us take a look at how we would summarize the research. Lee found that video content gets high engagement. Kim showed that morning posts perform better. Moreover, Chen discovered that user-generated content builds trust. That is a quick summary of the findings. It conveys the key points without providing too much detail. Let us try synthesizing all this information into a big picture. Here's a more integrated approach. Recent studies have reviewed social media marketing effectiveness patterns, emphasizing the interaction between content type, timing, and authenticity. While video content can generate a high engagement, we can maximize its effectiveness when combined with strategic timing and authentic user-generated elements. This solution suggests that successful social media marketing requires a multifaceted approach that integrates these key factors. This synthesis approach gives us a complete picture. It is not just about posting videos or timing our posts right, but about how all these factors combine to create a successful strategy. Let us look at a completely different topic: student engagement in online learning. Here's how we would summarize the research. 1. 2021 found that gamification boosted engagement by 14.5%. Then 2022 reported that interactive quizzes improved retention. Davis 2022 said peer discussion forums enhanced learning outcomes. Miller 2023 discovered that video content increased completion rates. Again, this is a solid list of findings, but we are just scratching the surface. Let's combine them using a synthesis approach. Here's the big picture. Recent studies show that boosting online student engagement takes a multifaceted approach. Interactive elements like gamification and real-time quizzes are enormous drivers of engagement and retention. Wang 2021, Zhang 2022. However, the social side of learning, like peer discussions, deepens understanding. Davis 2022. And comparing video content, Miller 2023, and you have a well-rounded strategy to keep students engaged in a virtual classroom. This research shows that successful online learning requires a balanced approach, one that combines interactivity, social elements, and engaging content. Let us look at another example. In a summary of some studies on workplace stress management, we might see something like Thompson found that meditation can reduce workplace stress by 13%. Roger Guy's 2022 showed that flexible schedules can help reduce burnout. Liu 2022 reported that exercise plans can improve mental health. Park 2023 found that social support plays a role in stress levels. Here, we are just listing the key findings from each study. Pretty straightforward, right? This list is a summary, like a shopping list. It takes the most important information from each source and presents it in bullet points. Now, a synthesis is different. Instead of just listing the main points, you collect ideas, combine them, and show how they relate to each other. A synthesis takes a more holistic approach and looks at how things fit together. So, using the same studies from before, here's what a synthesis might look like. Recent research shows that effective workplace stress management requires a holistic approach that combines individual, organizational, and social interventions. Personal strategies like meditation and exercise work best when paired with organizational policies, such as flexible scheduling. These strategies become even more effective when employees have strong social support. This vision points to the idea that we should see stress management as just an individual responsibility. It is about the interaction between personal habits, organizational structures, and social networks. See how I'm not just listing the findings one by one in the synthesis. Instead, I'm connecting them, showing how personal strategies like meditation or exercise work together with workplace policies like flexible schedules, and how they are all boosted by social support. It is all about making sense of the big picture. So, there we have it. Whether summarizing individual findings or synthesizing them into a broader context, the key takeaway is that the synthesis approach provides a much richer, more actionable understanding. It's like connecting the dots to see the whole picture. That is where the real power of research comes in. For this reason, in both normal Web's depths of knowledge and Bloom's taxonomy, synthesis is at the pinnacle of high-order thinking. Students must use what they have learned from many sources to develop or formulate a new idea, which requires them to think beyond the box. Let's discuss some typical errors people make when performing this task. To clarify things, we'll highlight each with a large X. First error, only listing resource. Listing the findings of each study is simple, but it doesn't help us see the broad picture. So we must look beyond the facts. Error number 2, not identify patterns. Sometimes we get so focused on individual findings that we miss the more important, the more significant patterns that tie everything together. Identify these patterns is key. Error number 3, missing contradictions. Not every study will agree with the others, and that's okay. But ignoring contradictions means we are missing important insights that could lead to the discoveries. Error number 4, overlooking the background. The background and the context of each study matter a lot. Ignoring it can make it harder to understand why the research is necessary or how it fits into the big picture. Error number 5, not connecting to theory. Lastly, it's critical to connect the results to the underlying theory. It's more challenging to understand how everything fits together without direct connection. Let's now discuss a few resources that can be pretty helpful in synthesizing all of the research. These tools make it easier to organize and analyze your findings by using structured templates from a research notebook. These research notebooks provide an excellent framework for developing synthesis skills, mainly through their structured sections for organizing and critically evaluating literature. Here's how you can use these notebooks to improve your ability to identify research gaps and integrate findings in a cohesive synthesis. Let's get started. Number 1, the comparison matrix. First, if you look at this slide, you can see a simple comparison matrix. By methodically comparing many factors, this tool aids in the organization of our research. For every study, note the following information using the research notebook template: study, methods, findings, background, and so on and so forth. For example, study A uses methods 1, finding X and context A. Study B using methods 2, finding Y, context and context B. The corresponding template fields might look like this. Purpose of this study: why was this research conducted? Key questions: what research questions were explored? Methodology, sample size: what methods were used and what was the sample? Key findings: what were the primary outcomes? Key codes: include any notable codes for later reference. By arranging the information in this way, you may rapidly find patterns, compare and contrast studies, and assess the breadth of the research. Tool number 2, the thematic map. Here, this research book shows a visual network connecting related concepts. This thematic map is a powerful tool for visualizing how different concepts or themes are connected. Use the categories, keywords section of the template to identify recurring ideas and create a network map. For example, we can connect concepts from different studies by thematic relationships. Categories, keywords list the key themes that each study addresses. Key arguments, conflicts identify how themes align or diverge between studies. Here's how it might look. Theme A connects to Theme B, supported by studies 1 and 2. Theme C is contradicted by Theme A and Theme B, highlighted in Study 3. Now let's look at an example. Consider yourself examining a number of papers on adaptation to climate change. The research may cover a variety of topics, including Theme A, government regulations and other policy interventions. Theme B, like community involvement, local participation in decision-making, for example. Theme C, technology-based solutions, such as infrastructure that can withstand climate change. You list these themes based on the keywords or significant topics in the studies you are reviewing. Here's how it might look. Theme A, policy interventions connect to Theme B, community engagement, supported by studies 1 and 2. Theme C, technological solutions, are contradicted by Theme A, policy interventions, and Theme B, community engagement, highlighted in Study 3. This map helps you quickly see how the themes from different studies relate. It also highlights areas where more research might be needed to resolve contradictions. Tool number 3, the integration table. Now, this table of the research notebook shows supporting and contradictory studies. This tool allows you to break down key themes and organize studies by whether they support or contradict a particular idea. Reference the key arguments and conflicts sections of the research notebook to populate this table. Theme, supporting studies, contradictory studies. For example, studies A and B support theme X, while study C contradicts it. Template fields in this research notebook to use are key arguments, conflicts, summarize the main points of argument or disagreement, key findings, for example, extra specific evidence from each study, citations, use citation data, for example, X index of the journal, citation counts to weight the credibility of each study. This table provides a clear overview of where the research aligns, where it differs, and which studies are most influential in shaping the debate. By combining these synthesis tools with the research notebook templates, you can organize and analyze your reading in a structured way. This solution makes finding patterns, connecting ideas, and reaching insightful conclusions much more straightforward. In conclusion, the ability to successfully synthesize information is a critical research skill that sets it apart from basic summarization. By combining multiple sources to produce unique insights. In this video, we have looked at the real-world situations, discussed the key distinctions between summarizing and synthesizing, and provided thorough synthesis techniques throughout this course. We have also highlighted the nuances of each method by contrasting several approaches, which will help you better grasp when and how to synthesize the information. We also talked about common synthesis errors, emphasizing the importance of critical thinking, avoiding superficial integration, and providing resources to assist you in the process. Gaining proficiency in these methods not only improves the caliber of your research, but also gives you the ability to formulate more persuasive, logical arguments and conclusions. Keep in mind that synthesis is about establishing links, providing fresh viewpoints, and expanding knowledge beyond what is already known as you continue to interact with other sources. You will increase the breadth and uniqueness of your study by putting these techniques into practice and honing them.
Now it's your turn. What are your favorite research synthesis strategies? Share your tips in the comments below. If you are ready to level up your research skills, please check out my other videos for advanced strategies for writing literature review and research papers. I've linked them in the description below. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our weekly updates. For academic writing, research paper publishing, advanced research strategies and techniques. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.